Certainly can, and that's what we're going to have to see here, guys. This is the finals between Elite 8 and Impunity. One of these teams are going to Worlds. One of these teams will be crowned the champions of Southeast Asia. Which one will it be?
Well, they've gone for the European suggestion, and they've gone DefQ running in the lane, quadruple pot. Book of Eulogies really looking for sustain, because I think obviously early on he is going to get punished by those Heliogenesis coming down from the Celeste, and it is going to be Spaghetti running that CP Kestrel in the jungle. A little bit more effective, especially when you pair that up with Quatrevoir on the Lance. They're going to be hugely impactful if they choose to take any early invades, as well as if they come into lane and land that if they land that Impale onto the Celeste. Obviously Celeste is going to take a lot of punishment.
Certainly, and that's where Quatrevoir can be very impactful. Quatrevoir has been such a fantastic captain to watch in this tournament so far at Scoundrel. He has innovated his build wherever possible, and I'm expecting on a Lance we'll see something very likely. It may not be something huge. That's the thing about Quatrevoir. Sometimes he goes down a build which is absolutely crazy, but we'll talk about it in sets as Spaghetti has entered the lane. Hanyega's in a bit of trouble. Does take about half his health and damage, but the Glimmer Shots are continuing to rain down, and Spaghetti really making this Celeste's life a misery.
So when I was learning CP Kestrel, I learned from a guy in Europe called Itachi, and he was basically talking to me about how CP Kestrel absolutely wrecks Celeste because of the pure range advantage you have at the start and how squishy Celeste is in terms of HP. You can just sit there and rain Glimmer Shots down. That's the first blood. That happened before we even could see it go down. And
it's just like, yes, let's go, guys. This is it.
First game of the final, and first blood goes over to Impunity. Oh, and again, that's that wonderful use of the Githian Wall. It roots up the Alpha, and here we go, DefQ locked into a bit of a duel. Yeah,
DefQ is very content to be doing this. Look at those Heart Throbs stacking up. DefQ looking for the kill. Quatrevoir will find it, but now DefQ in a bit of trouble. Prime Directive lands, and unfortunately not enough for Quatrevoir to get his carry out alive. Official Hine sticking around. Quatrevoir has to be careful. He hasn't bitten off more than he can chew. Heliogenesis starting to fall from the sky. Quatrevoir will go down as a return.
Wow, Elite 8 get a return 2 kills here from a little bit of an overextension in lane by Impunity. Official Hine has his heroic perk proc. That reboot will come through, but pre-6 it's not that much of a big deal because you don't have to use your ultimate at this point in time. Spaghetti has been happily farming in the jungle, by the way. That's kind of where he's been sat for the majority of the game. We'll see his back camp spawn and we'll head back towards them. Interestingly enough, because this is CP Kestrel and Blackfeather, you will want to buy Atlas Pauldrons as Ilock. You want to buy Atlas Pauldrons because obviously the Blackfeather is going to provide a significant threat to your Celeste, so you want to slow his attack speed, but you're also going to want that contraption for the CP Kestrel. There is, again, one of those situations where both carries warrant a defensive item choice, and it's going to be very crucial which one you choose first.
Yeah, no, I can see that, and for Ilock and Official Hine, I can certainly see an Atlas being prioritized. Impunity, pushing up here, looking for perhaps a overextended Elite 8 member. They don't find it, but they do take away one of those treants for themselves. Quatrevoir going to run on in. Githian Wall knocks everyone sideways. Official Hine getting into the fight. Hasn't got his reboot up yet. It will come up in a second. Hanyega's very comfortable just laying down the trap spam. It is going to be Elite 8 forced under their turret, but now Alpha does have her passive available. Yeah,
that reboot's back up available. Good weathering of the storm by Elite 8, by the way. They've been able to kind of rebut everything that Impunity has tried to do here. No level 6 for DefQ. He has to be careful about these engagers. Can't get out as easily. I'm going to say Quatrevoir hasn't been hitting as many of those impales as I think he would have liked, but the Githian Walls have been pretty solid.
Have been solid, have certainly been setting things up. All this time, though, Spaghetti's stealing away the camp, so as long as Official Hine is in vision, that just makes it so easy for Spaghetti to do so. Hanyega is looking for a kill to Quatrevoir, and it will be Quatrevoir falling, not able to Githian Wall away the damage. Hanyega's goes down very low, but here comes Official Hine. There's the Prime Directive straight on top of DefQ. Active Camo Trap means that he cannot chase, and the Core Collapse goes out from Hanyega's to make sure Official Hine gets out safely.
Yeah, Quatrevoir unfortunately got caught out by Hanyega's Celeste there. The Core Collapse at the end there locked him in the turret range, and Quatrevoir took a couple of turret hits there and went down for his sins. But a fine Official Hine comes in, does back up, protects the Ilock and Hanyega's from those stray Glimmer Shots. And again, Elite 8 off to a good start versus Impunity here. And this is something that we did see yesterday. A couple of times, Impunity's early game did start to struggle, and they came back in the later stages where coordination and build paths really started to come into effect.
Certainly, it is about 1,000 gold lead now for Impunity, so in that sense, Spaghetti has been doing work to keep that CS lead in the favor of his team.
People people might be wondering why double tier 1 shield has come out for DefQ. Actually gives you more shielding for the money investment at this point in time against the Celeste.
And the Alpha, it's a double C composition coming out from Elite 8, something that they prioritized yesterday, and something that yesterday when they prioritized it was well thought out considering the composition they were against. A Sky, a Finn, and of course that Celeste, Kestrel it was. A fight breaking out, Hanyegas catches Spaghetti in the core collapse. Spaghetti trying to dance away, but it's going to be Official Hein on top. Finds the kill for himself, and now DefQ stuck in the middle of it all. He's going to go down. It's 2 for Elite 8, and they're looking for the third, but Cote d'Ivoire will not give it to them.
Wow, warning bells starting to sign here for Impunity. They might be ahead in gold, but right now, Elite 8 taking every fight they have taken in the last 2 minutes. Again, Hunyegas on this Celeste has been incredible with his positioning, been very aggressive, more so than you'd expect. That's a great core collapse again, going to force out the boots from Cote d'Ivoire. Spaghetti did have the goal to combine that Shatterglass, by the way, but didn't choose to do so before that fight. There are some item spikes being hit on the side of Impunity. Serpent's Mask out for DefQ gives him the sustain. Fountain not yet completed, by the way, for Cote d'Ivoire. That's a big deal because Fountain is now there for iLock. And Hunyega's already picked up the Eve of Harvest, something that they do often see. Official Hein's going to get rooted up. Yeah,
no passive available for the Alpha. He's going to get knocked into the one-shot, tries to dive forward and get something for himself, but could not do so. Now the siege starting to break out. It is Cote d'Ivoire heading down to the shop to complete that fountain just in case things were to turn south. But this turret just taking so much damage. Solar Storm flies out. DefQ jumps into it. Takes a bit of damage in the process, but it's not going to mean too much. This turret is falling. Core Collapse delays it, but now here comes DefQ looking for Hunyega's great Giffian wall, and Hunyega's will fall. iLock throws out the fountain, but I'm not sure it's enough. He goes down as well. A double for DefQ, and this is where an Impunity come alive.
Elite 8 stood too long trying to protect the turret that was destined to go down, and I'm going to say Cote d'Ivoire's positioning right there was absolutely perfect. Moves up, gets a double Githian wall, locks them in up against the wall, threatens the Impale, and the only way they could go was towards the brush. Impunity, rough early game again, but steadied the ship and they pick up the gold mine on the turret, and suddenly they are miles ahead in gold.
This is just what happens. Those first damage items is when they spike around.
Yeah.
It reminds me of TSM in North America. They play so heavily around their item spike capabilities. That first Aftershock, that first Sorrow Blade, that first Shatterglass, whatever it may be that gives you that first power spike, and then they execute so perfectly. That's a 3,000 gold lead out of nowhere.
Yeah, going to have to defend this first tier turret though as the Elite 8 are pushing as a unit. Look at Spaghetti's build path. I wonder where Spaghetti's going. Is he moving towards a double Shatterglass here?
We'll have to find out, as it does look like Cote d'Ivoire wants to fight. Core Collapse catches up the lance, but the Glimmer Shots from Spaghetti are just ripping through iLock's health bar. Just doesn't have any shielding to deal with this Kestrel.
Elite 8 on one level needed to get the overdriven Heliogenesis, who's going to give a massive range advantage back to Hunyegas, potentially put him out of the range of the Glimmer Shot for the most part too. It's a big item spike, a big level spike for him, and he's not too far away from hitting it. These back camps might actually put him over the edge. One shot, one kill comes through. It looks like Impunity want to fight now before they have to deal with that. Aren't
really finding anyone caught out of position. There's going to be Elite 8 making their way to the turret long way round. Solar Storm going to hit into DefQ. And an Impunity with a chance to disengage. All set up. Active camo goes out. Official Hein gets locked in it. Impale goes out and he is rebooting. Will be able to come back up. But DefQ looking to try and find the kill. Glimmer Shots from afar. Spaghetti, that artillery cannon. But still, Elite 8 surviving. Hunyegas have to be careful. Impunity still looking to put pressure on. The minion wave about to hit into this turret scoundrel. As Spaghetti dances on the line of death. You have to respect the Heliogenesis spam that can come out of this Celeste. Especially with the Eve of Harvest now completed, he can basically do it all day long. He kind of can basically equal the range of the CP Kestrel now as well. And remember, during the cast animation, the Glimmer Shot, CP Kestrel is static. It's perfect time to use those Heliogenesis and punish her for using those Glimmer Shots. It's kind of a war of the skill shot, but at this point, I would say Heliogenesis is easier to hit than the Glimmer Shot is. And it's overdriven now, which means that the range advantage that Hunyegas has available is huge, just to sit so far back and avoid being, poked back in return. We've yet to see too many gauntlets have a massive impact here, by the way, for iLock. It's been kind of quiet on that front.
Looks like it's a double Shatterglass. This is what we've seen in Europe on CP Castro all the time. It basically designed, I guess, specifically to do as much damage to the Celeste as physically possible. And again, not much shielding coming through as well, so this makes that high impact damage for the double Shatterglass really impactful. Looks like Ilok's actually going towards a Crucible before going towards either a Contraption or an Atlas Pauldrons, which means both Def Q and Spaghetti are going to have a great time, but we've got to fight.
Yeah, Spaghetti gets a little bit caught out by Official Hein. Def Q, though, he's jumping onto Hunyegas, blocks up the core collapse, and now Hunyegas in trouble. And everyone turning to try and support, but Def Q dances on top of that Celeste. Official Hein got to find Spaghetti, but he goes into his reboot process, looking to come back and looking to do the damage. Spaghetti trying to escape a Prime Directive at range. Def Q just being that brick wall, and he will find the kill. Impunity just playing perfectly
I'm
around
so
this.
glad to finally see a Southeast Asian team bring something like a Black Feather to the table to deal with these picks like Celeste, to deal with these picks like Samuel, like Scarf, like Sky even to an instance, because it is just so good against them. You can see how devastating Black Feather is when a Celeste is picked up. It's so difficult for Celeste to even be able to peel against him. Turret going down here, we're going to have a fight too.
Impale one shot, Ilok takes a huge chunk of damage, but it's not the main target. They were looking for that Celeste, and I'm sure if that one shot connected, Def Q was dancing on over. But Official Hein wants this. Gauntlet going to catch up Def Q as he has to dance backwards. Spaghetti looking for a better position to throw out the Glimmer shots. Def Q dodging away from the CC. Hunyegas caught across the wall, and Spaghetti now running for his life. Fountain comes out. Spaghetti will go down. There's the Termination Protocol right on top, but a good Giffian wall disengages, and Def Q should be able to escape here. Ilok trying to keep in range, but I think the Dirty Deed has
Scarf, or I'll pick Sky, and let's just try and win this in terms of who's the better player. Now we're actually seeing, a little bit like we see in North America and Europe, you pick Celeste, you get punished for it because you pick something that is especially quite good into her. Black Feather, in my opinion, especially Weapon Black Feather, one of the best picks into a Celeste because of how easily he can stick to her, how easily he can dodge through core collapse because of his Rose offensive. It is just so good to be able to get through that CC and then consistently force Celeste to either have to use Heliogenesis on herself or try and predict the kiting backwards movements. And obviously you can even block Supernova by using that Rose offensive too. So again, I think Impunity made a really good call here, and it's more akin to what we see in Europe, actually. This is something a bit more European style of this lane Black Feather that we often see come through.
Yeah, no, it's something that, when we discuss who we think are strong on an update, I think we both agreed that Black Feather is up there in the top 3 as far as laners are concerned.
Absolutely, I think Black Feather is really good.
Something that's really interesting is, and you mentioned it before we hit this pause, it's a player pause and we're just dealing with the issue behind the scenes, is that a Crucible was coming through from Elite 8. Now, you thought that was a bit of a weird item. I've got an idea of what Elite 8 are trying to do with it. They want Official Hein to dive Spaghetti, and we have come out of a pause. They want Official Hein to be able to dive onto Spaghetti. So what a Crucible allows the team to do, especially for Ilok as well, is that they can go to a danger zone where a active camo is and continue the pressure.
Yeah.
The odd issue is they haven't gone into a contraption, and usually that's what we see when there's a CP cast.
Yeah, I think if you're worried about active camos, you're probably better off picking a contraption than you would be picking off a Crucible. The only thing I think about the Crucible is that maybe it keeps Hunyegas, who's not going a reflex block, safer from something like a Lance. So you're using it, I guess, initially to stop at that engage from the Lance, and that's potentially where I think he's more interested in. Because Hunyegas just has no intention of getting his own reflex block here, really just accelerating that damage build. Looks like he's working towards... I mean, he's got a piercing shard, right? That could be a Shatterglass that he could build that Heavy Prism into. It could just literally be 2 broken mitts, which we have seen from time to time, by the way. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it is a build that exists.
Oh, Solar Storm going to catch the Gold Miner. Impunity trying to rush it down, but Elite 8 coming in does go over to Impunity. The fight beginning. Spaghetti dancing around in his active camos, and Hunyegas in just so much trouble. He goes down, Gauntlet goes out, but it's just not enough. Official Hein getting caught on up, popping that Termination Protocol on top of Def Q, but it's just not effective. This is the ace coming through for Impunity at the 14-minute mark as they find themselves 8,000 gold in the lead.
And they're going to rush straight to this choke point turret there. No qualms about it. Not trying to push the lane up specifically. Actually, they're just looking like they're dancing around. Here we go. They're going to move on to this turret now. And again, you saw how powerful that Black Feather was against the Celeste. She can do nothing. She's consistently in a state of running away. One shot, one kill. 450 damage right to Celeste's face. Forces her away from that turret. Can't defend it. And suddenly it's another turret in the bag here for Impunity, and they accelerate that gold lead very close to 10k. Active Camo's getting set up.
Oh, this is dirty, Spaghetti. You're not allowed to do this. They have no idea where Spaghetti is, and they could just walk straight into the clutches. You see Impunity disengaging. They're all standing in it. Oh, the three-man stun. Spaghetti finds them all. Hunjagers goes down. Official Hind goes down. Ilock gonna go down as well. It's a three-man ace. It's ridiculous, Scoundrel. And Impunity with 25 seconds are certainly going to take down these Vein Crystal turrets and secure themselves game 1 in this finals.
Patience is a virtue, and Spaghetti has it in spades. Waited, wasn't interested in Alpha, wasn't interested in Arden. He wanted Celeste and ended up getting a 3-for-1 smash on that as well. What an insane Active Camo's done, and the execute potential was there from the Black Feather. Probably one of the best setups I've seen with a CP Kestrel in a professional game as well. And unfortunately, no contraption, no scout traps in base, no flares.
We may see it in the jungle coming through for game 2 here, as it does look like it is going to be in the lane. So DefQ, he has a lot of opportunity here. I expect a Poison Shift first, probably, no, a Poison Shift first, probably more likely the Sorrow Blade first, so he can unlock his Divergent Path.
Yeah, maybe, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a Poison Shift come through, because obviously Hunjagers, it's incredibly important at stopping the sustain here.
It's double CP.
Yeah, I just don't see the obsession with CP Sky in these situations. I understand it's a lot of heavy hitting damage if you can keep your range, and as long as Lance is doing the peeling for you, but I just feel like weapon power Idris is so good against CP Sky. And
he's good against Samuel as well, if he can get the initial damage down. This is very risky stuff coming out from Elite 8. Game 2 of this Spring Live Championship. Elite 8 on the back foot as Impunity are 1-0 up, and once more they're sticking to their guns. They believe double CP is where it's at. Well, first, we're going to have to prove it.
This is one of the regions that I've seen the most double CP come through, and generally it's been with Sky or Alpha. Both of those have kind of rounded out double CP compositions over here in Southeast Asia. But yeah, I just really like Idris into CP Sky, and I think Weapon Power Sky generally fares a bit better. Anime Save Me is one of the better players, you know, that they wanted to sub in here, and that brings the Lance to the table. Lance can be one of those captains that can single-handedly seal a game for you with the right impales and Githian walls, so we'll have to see how he fares on this particular hero.
They're going to have to play very, very safely at range and make sure they play perfectly to win conditions. Spaghetti, though, senses an opportunity to steal some away these back camps. Going to set it up so the Supernovas splash onto all three, and I think he might even get away with it before before the official Hind hits the scene. Going to be a risky one. He is backing. Oh, the Gatling gun hits him on the forward barrage. Series strike over. There should be official Hind earning himself a first blood, but Spaghetti is still alive, surviving. Core collapse. Oh my goodness, Spaghetti. He's going to fall. He's going to get back. Oh, they've just let him escape. Spaghetti, the grand escape.
Wow, I almost feel like official Hind was a little bit too respectful of Spaghetti there. He was on low energy. He would have needed to hit a supernova to get the kill there, and a couple more basic attacks actually might have finished him off. Super respectful, but maybe too respectful there coming out of official Hind, and already Hunjager starting to take a little bit of damage. It's more interesting that obviously it's actually Samuel in lane here, because we've actually seen an opening of CP Sky in the lane, which has actually been very successful for the European scene. But obviously Samuel has also been a very good laner too, so it's kind of just pick and choose as you will. Spaghetti contesting, loses as official Hind picks it up, but it does actually get stunned, and now he's being chased down.
Yeah, look at this. Spaghetti just going to lead on. Auto attacks, Sword Barrage will create the gap necessary, and Anime Save Me was coming in to provide the backup. I do think that Samuel is a better pick into Idris in the lane. The Malice and Verdicts make things very hard. If you play very aggressively on Samuel, Idris does tend to find it a little bit hard to walk up to the CS and land those last hits. However, paired with a Lyra, a Croix d'Ivoire, and it is going to be able to provide a lot of healing. And speaking of healing, yesterday we saw Croix d'Ivoire neglect to get a fountain, went down a very unique Lyra build to provide the max heal he could possibly do in an Imperial Sigil. Seems that he may be doing something very similar.
I don't think he's going to avoid the fountain for long, because it's a double CP, and fountain gives you a lot of shielding. Look at official Hind's caught here.
He is caught. DefQ. Oh, it's going to be Spaghetti finding first blood here. Impunity strike first, and this game, they're playing a little bit differently, aren't they, Scoundrel? A little bit more safer and a little bit more respectful. They don't want to give any leads over. They found Enemy Save Me hiding out in the jungle. Pops his boots here. Croix d'Ivoire chases on down, but they're not going to find a kill.
Here comes Croix d'Ivoire just trying to move into lane. DefQ doing his job against Hunyegas right now. 32 CS to 38, small advantage over to DefQ at this point in time, who piloting this Idris fairly well. Again, like we said, it's a bit respectful of the early game here this time round. Impunity, they've been a little bit more, but that is a lot of damage coming down onto DefQ from Hunyega's. Got to be careful of that Drifting Dark, Malice and Verdict, because Idris, you just do not have high HP values as this hero. He's not the particularly tankiest hero in the game, which is why he kind of likes to get in and dodge damage as opposed to have to brawl it out.
Yeah, certainly. When he starts getting into the lifesteal, the poison shift comes through, and you can see that they've already opted into double shielding on DefQ because he just knows he's going up against a double CP composition. It is going to be pretty hard to take him down, but now Sorrowblade completed for DefQ. Divergence paths unlocked. His Shroud Step now turns into a blink, and it's going to allow him a lot of repositional ability.
Yeah, exactly. Could have dodged through the Suri strikes, the forward barrages, the Malice and Verdicts, gets all of those. Looks like there's a big siege going on to the first tier turret here for Elite 8. We could see a fight break out.
DefQ dives forward, he gets the shielding, that's a big stun. Fischelheim takes a lot of damage, but Spaghetti takes it all. Oh, the Imperial Sigil! Coeur d'Ivoire baited Spaghetti to go back in, and Hunyegas finds a Malice and Verdict to the face.
Yeah, well, I think he thought he might die regardless, moves back, but obviously the Malice and Verdict did the work. And now Elite 8. Maybe giving up a bit of pressure on this turret though. DefQ nearly level 6. Coeur d'Ivoire is. They have that Arcane Portal out. That's a nice blink. Gets you out of the Impale. No, it's Coeur d'Ivoire's 4. I need glasses. I need glasses.
It's alright. I was wondering if...
My vision's been getting slowly worse over the last year, so... I did have glasses, but I just never wear them.
Unfortunate. Right.
Unfortunate. Unlucked, mate.
You're turning old. You're an old man
it's just
now.
old. It's just getting old, isn't it?
It is getting old.
Apparently, according to my optician, it was too many computer games.
Oh, yeah? There you go. That's the thing. Speaking of computer games, we're here to cast a beautiful final between Elite 8 and Impunity. Hunyega's taking a bit of damage. Solar Storm, that's a lot of damage all of a sudden, but he's staying alive. Fischelheim, however, will not stay alive. As an anime save me diving on in, it roots him in place. That means a bit of damage can go their way. And now with Spaghetti in lane, DefQ throws that chakram out. There's a lot of damage available to that turret. Will go very low, and the minion wave's pushing in. Will Impunity go for it now? Yeah, I think they should. I think it's fairly easy to get. Anime Save Me trying to buy time. Here comes Hunyegas from the side. Drifting Dark goes down, but that turret goes out to DefQ. He wants in. He's diving onto Anime Save Me. Does, of course, have his Shimmer Strike to jump onto an ally or even an enemy if necessary. DefQ wanting to go forward. The Oblivion keeps him in place. Blinks to the other side. Def from above. He needs to dive into Coeur d'Ivoire. He dives into Hunyegas. Tries to get the Shaker and Blink going, but it just does not happen. And that's going to be him falling down. Coeur d'Ivoire now has to dance left and right to avoid everything flying at his face, and unfortunately he cannot avoid everything. 2 kills over to Elite 8.
Yeah, and now the siege is coming through, but already Spaghetti is there. Fountain is up and available for Anime Save Me. And just like an anime, the protagonist of his team came back to save the day after that turret siege. Can they get a resounding victory after getting this turret down as well? They have the siege potential. There's a lot of supernovas set up around those minions, but it doesn't look like Spaghetti wants to go for it. Solar Storm comes through. Yeah,
the death from above meant that Spaghetti couldn't follow up, really. And that is the turret falling down, and Elite 8 a buyback into this game, but it is still 1,000 gold in favor of Impunity.
Still, again, Impunity's early game showing some signs of weakness. Need to get towards that mid-late game where they have shone so brilliantly in the finals. Looks like Tension Bow comes through. Big item spike there for DefQ. Not yet bought boots, by the way. Interesting little tidbit there. Dalsy looking at me and shaking his head like he thinks he should have bought boots. I definitely think mobility is super important to the Idris, but 2 item spikes here. Not too much gold to invest in boots. Probably can buy up a cup pair now.
Coeur d'Ivoire still avoiding that fountain quite heavily. Got himself another Dragon's Heart in his inventory. What will he convert that into?
He should get it next, right? No, he shouldn't, because he's got a Dragon. I mean, yeah, I have no idea. Maybe go towards a contraption. That's what he did last time. He's got the energy battery, so that's probably where he'll go. The
thing is, you're against double CP, so you want to build items that have health, but also shielding, right?
Fountain has that.
Yeah, that's why. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay, good. I thought you were trying to make the counterpoint, and I was like, what?
Fischelheim takes a huge chunk of damage. It does look like Elite 8 have to run. Solar Storm going to come on through, hits into Anime Save Me, throws out a Giffian's Wall. Coeur d'Ivoire dives forward. There's going to be a lot of damage traded on back, and DefQ jumps in to find the flow. He jumps back out. Easy peasy for Impunity here. Now we'll have to see what they can get from it.
I think delaying Fountain is good in a lot of scenarios, but I mean, this one, there's so much team-wide damage that can take place. I just feel like Fountain would have been a great choice for Cote d'Ivoire because it gives you both shielding, a lot of regeneration to your team. But what this does allow is to make picks, because you're probably going to have a contraption soon, which will give you vision dominance, and making picks as Celeste and...
oh, he steals it!
He steals it!
He steals it with the empowered drifting Dark Malice inverted combination. A bit of a mistake there from Elite 8, and a bit of luck on Hunyega's side.
Yeah, mistake from Impunity, definitely. Letting a little bit too much go, in my opinion, here. They're letting a little bit too much go over to Elite 8 at this point in time. Giving away too many things. They can't. I don't think they can brawl as effectively. And again, you know, the interesting thing about not having a Fountain here is you have to group up on that Lyra heal. You don't really want to group up against a Samuel and a Sky because it makes hitting their skills that much easier. So while I agree with this against the Cruel, I'm not sure I agree with this time round.
Yeah, no, I think that's where the point that we're trying to make is that you are against double CP. Interestingly enough, Hunyega's going to opt in for a Eve of Harvest on the Samuel. Seems a little bit counterintuitive. We know that Southeast Asia love that Eve of Harvest, so we'll talk about it in a second. As DefQ's diving in, looking for a kill. Solar Storm comes out, rips through Anime Save Me, but there's just so much poke available to the side of Elite 8. Hunyega's the main target, but DefQ's just not quite finding it. Dives onto Anime Save Me. Chakram flying left and right and center. Cote d'Ivoire diving away, and he will be able to get out of this one alive, as it is Elite 8 trying to chase forward. And Spaghetti is in the midst of it. Cote d'Ivoire goes low. That's going to be an impale landing, and that's going to be the kill going over to Hunyega's. DefQ, though, gets himself a heal, but it's just not enough. Dives forward, and Hunyega's will take that one away. Spaghetti, last man standing, going to try and find a kill. He does get one, but he goes down in the end. It's an ace for Elite 8, and Impunity biting off more than it can chew. Yeah, definitely. I feel like the major issue there, and again, Fountain finally comes. There we go. Cote d'Ivoire had the same idea. Definitely feels like he needs it. I feel like the problem is with the sigil that you're seeing here, especially in that last fight. Elite 8 can just focus all of their abilities into the sigil, so then you don't even get the healing from it because you're forced away from it to not take damage. And I think that's now what Cote d'Ivoire has realized and has kind of not delayed it any further, realizing it's absolutely necessary to have that kind of point and or just button press healing, the get out of jail free card in this kind of composition, because it could provide that element of extra HP needed for either DefQ or Spaghetti to find those finishing blows. So I actually feel like DefQ has made a bit of a mistake in his itemization on Idris. I honestly prefer Poison Shiv first, Tension Bow last. In the latest updates, people have found that Tension Bow as a last item is actually quite effective and isn't as necessary as a first item pick anymore. But another fight breaking out here, as it is going to be Spaghetti laying down the core collapse, but he's taken so much poke in the process. DefQ trying to get some kills. Solar Storm going to come through, but DefQ just goes down. He has literally no sustain and is just so vulnerable to diving on in. Playing this Idris in a very risky way. Official Hind dives forward, but the forward barrage will not connect or slow. Impunity need to realize that diving onto a composition that's going to throw massive amounts of artillery at your face is not where you want to be. You've got a Celeste with an overdrive. It almost feels like they're trying to innovate too much. Yes. Like, do you know what I mean by saying that? I feel like they're trying to do too much innovation. That build from Cote d'Ivoire, it had its merits in the game against Cruel, but there again, you're now against double splash damage, double ranged. It's very difficult to make use of the Imperial Sigil in the same way, and obviously Cote d'Ivoire agrees because he's now decided to go, instead of going for Contraption, obviously going now for the Fountain to give themselves that little extra get out of jail free card in the team fights. As soon as DefQ finishes this Poison Shiv, going to be in a much stronger position, a much more comfortable position on the Idris to be able to sustain a little bit in these drawn-out fights. Spaghetti has quite a diverse way he can go as far as his build is concerned. Historically, we've seen him go into a lot of PS, but here we go. That's DefQ diving in, and he has that Poison Shiv. There's the barrel through the portal, but they're not following up. Spaghetti doesn't want to get close. Has, of course, that upgraded Halo Genesis. DefQ steps on in, uses that Shimmer Strike, gets the Shout Step. He's away. He will fall in the end, but he gets down at least one in his process, and actually now Spaghetti can just continue the artillery with these Helo Genesis and just create a minefield that Official Hind has to navigate. Yeah, I think if I were to trade a Sky and a Celeste in the 1v1, I'd much prefer the Sky, the Celeste Lyra than the Sky Lance. Really good attack. It should get it. It should get it. There we go. And Atlas won't save you, my friend. I guess you just put it for the cinematic effect. Official Hind goes down. It isn't an ace. If Hunyega's is here, and he's going to try and push everyone back. Cote d'Ivoire is actually in a bit of trouble here as the Crystal Sentry is getting involved. Lays down the Imperial Sigil, gives him healing. Is it enough? He's dodging away from these sigils. Puts out the Bright Bulwark, and that will be enough to get Cote d'Ivoire out of range. If Hanyegas was to continue chasing, which he is, DefQ could come in and just assassinate him. Tension bow there. Look at the damage. Chakram flies through. And Quatafar with this cheeky steal.
Now that we see the Poison Shiv there, not only are you limiting the Samuel sustain with the Eve of Harvest and the Fountain, you're also giving yourself a little bit of sustain to the kit. You see what a difference it makes to DefQ's team fighting ability. This is why we suggested Poison Shiv to come out before that Tension Bow. Yes, Sorrow Blade to hit your spike, but I actually would have loved to have seen Poison Shiv even come out first. I don't necessarily think that Divergent Paths is super critical to the way that you want to play. I know Dowsey disagrees, but I don't think it's majorly critical. I think I would have much preferred to just limit Samuel's healing more than anything, but I definitely think it should have been there before the Tension Bow regardless, unless they were looking to burst specifically. The problem is that it's very difficult as a Celeste to follow up on the burst of the Idris, because usually you're just, especially pre-level 8, way too far away to make it happen.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah. This is something that, as someone who, I've played Idris a lot, and I play Idris with people who are trying to follow up on my calls, because I'm diving on people's faces, and they're just like, you cannot follow up an Idris. If Idris wants to go places, he goes places. He goes where he pleases, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And a team struggles to follow Idris down his route, so you have to be very careful about the engages you take. You have to be very purposeful. You either dance in and out, the in and out style from Idris, or you don't, because you can't. Your team can't follow up very easily.
So you can see here, Impunity really looking to take like very specific engages. Quatrefoy has already used his portal, by the way. 15 seconds till the next one. So the main way we've seen Impunity run these fights is they wait for that portal to be up to deliver Idris to the backline without having to let him go through all of the Frostburn poke, through from the Hunyegas and Official Hive. He needs to get to that backline instantaneously. So you can see, for the most part, trying to sustain and then just waiting for that immediate direct delivery.
Can't wait to see what DefQ overdrives as his second ability. My suggestion would be Shroud Step, because he's needing to have high mobility, so he wants to have that off cooldown as soon as possible. His auto attacks reduce the cooldown. Every auto attack reduces it by a portion of a second. But if he overdrives it, the cooldown becomes even more so that he can have it up more often. If he goes into Shimmer Strike, it means that the Shimmer Strike is off cooldown very often, but you're realistically not going to get 2 Shimmer Strikes in a team fight, so it doesn't actually mean anything.
And once you've dodged one set of abilities, I mean, what are you actually trying to dodge here? Like Full Barrage and Malice of Eddie, they're up all the time, right? So it's more about just dodging one crucial one in a team fight and then sticking to the target and getting them killed. Maybe you can dodge an Impale, right? But again, that's up very, very often. So there's nothing like super critical that you want to dodge, you would say, on the side of Elite 8. Maybe like the Oblivion, maybe the Death from Above, but that can be done with a Crucible, right? And Quatrefoy's got that. So you want to be able to keep to your target more specifically than trying to dodge literally everything that's being thrown at you. So,
and he has overdriven the Shroud Step, so good peace of mind to understand what he needs to do, the playstyle he needs to take in this game to make the Idris work. Elite 8 being forced back into the jungle. It is 17 minutes. There's a portal. Hunyegas has possibly been caught, but a late follow through, and Hunyegas still alive. That's Quatrefoy taking so much damage in the process. DefQ going to dive forward, try and do the work, but the Atlas comes out to slow down his attack speed. Inside the Imperial Sigil, going to heal up. Elite 8 haven't quite found the burst they need. Solar Storm comes through, but it misses, and then not enough damage is there. DefQ, he's trying to come in. That's a fountain burnt, but the Mortal Wounds will cut down some of that healing onto the single targets. Oblivion going to catch DefQ alive. He is in so much trouble, but he's going to dive forward. He wants Hunyegas, and Hunyegas he'll have. It's a double for Spaghetti. Official Hind, last man standing, trying his best. Will find the Celeste. Spaghetti falls, but now he has to find DefQ, and DefQ can just jump right over. Oh, that's lovely usage of the Treant to provide a barrier, and it forces DefQ to cut out his attack.
Quatrefoy could have used his portal, by the way.
Yes.
That was back up and available. They could have jumped over the wall and delivered directly to this guy.
Journey Boots now completed for DefQ. He's going to have so much mobility in fights. Every 12 seconds, he will be popping those for a huge movement speed, and these fights have been pretty extended.
Clockwork for Spaghetti, by the way. Clockwork coming up for him. We saw him go the double piercing shard build because there was Aegises to contend with on the targets that he wanted to kill previously, but there are no Aegises this time round. So you're more than happy to go for the Clockwork and just deal extra flat damage. Oh, look at this.
Wow, that's so risky from DefQ, but he's going to pop those Journey Boots trying to escape. Here comes the Solar Storm. DefQ dealing with Anime Save Me, and he will fall down to the auto attack. Quatrefoy, though, able to find the kill onto Official Hind whilst this was all being played out. Now has to find his own escape, though. Hunyega's laying down the damage. Going to try and get the speed from the Imperial Sigil, but the Frostburn just doing so much work, and he goes down. That's the shutdown, but with it just being a Samuel and a Lance, there's really not much that Elite 8 can get for that.
I was very confused as to why he didn't just run towards the middle there instead of choosing to circle back around the back camps. I know maybe you thought Lance is going, but I would much prefer to walk into a Lance than to walk into a Samuel.
You can see Elite 8, they don't want to start up the Kraken. Samuel takes it so slowly.
Yeah,
it would be a massive risk.
And again, playing against Spaghetti, who's got the Solar Storm up, that's a little bit more of a risk to do so as well. So, you know, the long range there of the Heliogenesis is too much to risk going for the Kraken right now.
This is... I don't like this. DefQ's going down crit. He's going a 4 damage Idris build. In my hundreds of games of Idris, I found I do more damage output with 3 items rather than 4 items because you sustain with more defense. You're against a double CP composition. You can build double Aegis, or you could build another shielding item to give yourself more shielding against
Fountain.
I'm not a fan. I understand why you would want to do it. Crit, definitely understandable because you're trying to blow someone up and assassinate them, but I've done the research on damage, and 3 damage items does more damage because you survive longer.
Okay, Quadavar looking for a potential portal over the wall here. Gets caught out. They're split right now, Dalsy.
Quadavar is split. There's forward barrage keeping him in bay. DefQ going to dive on in. That's a lot of damage onto Visual Hind, trying to find the kill, but he cannot do so, and he's taking a lot of damage in the process. Solar Storm rips through Hun Jaegers, but that's going to be DefQ locked down against the wall, dives on Cross, and Spaghetti's able to find Hun Jaegers. DefQ in trouble. Anime Sabi trying to find the kill, the heal. It's coming through. Is it? DefQ gets out alive. Going to try and get into that Imperial Sigil, but he cannot risk it. Anime Sabi trying to escape the Celeste, trying to save himself, and he will be able to do so. Crystal Sentry goes down, DefQ flanking, gonna dive on in, and that's annihilation! That is the kills coming through. Official Hines goes down, and with just Anime Save Me alive, Impunity going to start up this Kraken.
That Crystal Sentry has been the bane of Impunity's life. I feel like if they focused that Crystal Sentry more in the early game and the mid game, they would never have these problems trying to take fights in the enemy jungle.
No. But Anime Save Me, no way. He steals the
Kraken!
What the? That is a huge error coming out of Impunity.
Oh my word, they had the burst from the Supernova as well. Lance is like the Kraken stealing machine in the captain role, but that was insane. The sub comes in.
And they don't even get the kill. That is salt in the wound. Impunity. They now have to deal with this Kraken.
They have to deal with the Kraken. They have to deal with the onslaught. There's a lot of good siege. They don't have any health either. They might just have to back. They might just have to back here.
Right, it is going to be Quadavar rooted on up. He has himself the Arcane Pass. Who doesn't have it up? He cannot escape. So much harass coming onto him. That's another Impale. He uses the Fountain on himself, trying to heal up. Hun Jaeger's very close. Here comes DefQ looking for the kill, and Hun Jaeger's caught in the Brits of it. Can he find the last auto attack to get it? No, and Impale saves the life, but the Chakram does the work. Double kill comes through, and now it's time to take this Kraken.
Oh, they're going to siege onto the Kraken. They will take it down before this next turret goes through, but that is way too hard for Impunity to deal with right now, because Elite 8, that was sealed if they took that Kraken. Elite 8 were out of this game, but that is a sub coming in and giving them a shred of hope. I still think Impunity are in the commanding lead right now, especially now Tornado Trigger was the choice for DefQ. Like a lot of crit, a lot of attack speed on top of what he's already got as well.
Have to see if he can make it work. I'm still in favor of more defense.
By the way, Tension Bow and Quatavois. What do you make of that?
I don't know what to make of that. I'm starstruck. Wow, this is a big dive onto Official Hind. There's no minion wave to support Impunity as they try to take down this choke point turret, currently having to force themselves back. What's the tension bow for?
I don't know. I don't feel like... I think this is, again, one of those situations where you may be just innovating a little too much.
If you wanted to get an item, get a Bone Saw. And then you can
or even
at
a poison
least
shiv.
apply
At least a poison shiv.
A poison shiv as well on Lyra.
Yeah.
Like, if he's trying to pierce armor, then what the Bone Saw will allow you to do is stack up the armor shred so that DefQ has an easier time doing damage to a target. There is, some armor on the field.
A little bit more of long range burst, I guess. Maybe that extra little bit of burst is all that DefQ needs to find the executing blow.
And that's the thing. If DefQ wanted to go for damage items, then a Bone Saw would have been my preferred choice. Yes, he has a tension bow, but everyone on the enemy team of Elite 8 has armor. If you have
an Echo as well, by the way.
Let's go.
Double heal could be really impactful.
Portal?
Double portal, really get to the back
double
line.
Heal, it's definitely double
heal. I think
heal.
it's definitely double heal though, yeah.
Wow, this is insane stuff coming out of Cote d'Ivoire. Impunity, though, struggling to close out this game. They've got themselves a 5,000 gold lead, but that Kraken steal from Anime Save Me has kept Elite 8 alive and kicking. Lots of poke going down. That's going to be a Solar Storm, and Official Heinz loses his life. Anime Save Me gets caught up in a core collapse, trying his best to get out as well. And Impunity now going to turn around.
They could portal, they could echo and portal again if they really wanted to on the back of this turret.
Oh, let's have a look. It's going to be the turret falling very low. Does go down.
They can't echo and portal because they've already used.
Oh, okay. That's a jump across. That's going to be Atlas onto Def Q. He's trying to do the work. He just doesn't really have the damage.
I lied to you. They'd actually used abilities after the portal, obviously, so couldn't use the echo straight away. But yeah, they didn't use it that fight there. So maybe looking in one of those, like you said, desperation. Bright Bulwark could be used to really limit movement, by the way. Bright Bulwark, echo, Bright Bulwark.
Sentry eliminated. Finally. The Bane of Impunity has gone, but they are starting up this Kraken. Man, 2 steals this game. Goldminer went over to Hunyegas. Kraken went over to Anime Save Me on the back of some steals. This time Impunity are going to try and deal with the threat to begin with, and the Solar Storm will definitely help out, but DefQ just does not have enough damage with his current build to find assassination potential. Now he has to dive away and get a heal of his own. It is Impunity turning around, trying to get away from here. DefQ lays down a bit of damage, but there's the forward barrage doing work, and he's stunned, locked up, taken on down by Official Heinz. Cote d'Ivoire in the midst of it has that echo. In fact, he's used it for all the double heal. It just wasn't enough. All by himself trying to find the kill, but he goes down. It's a double for Official Heinz, and Spaghetti is forced now onto the retreat.
That's I mean, something I've noticed from Cote d'Ivoire is he holds on to his fountain for so long in these fights.
Ooh. That was so close.
Are they going to be tempted not to take this Kraken? It looks like Sky and Samuel are going to start it up. Spaghetti is the only one that can stop this right now. Whether he wants to is the question that we should ask ourselves, though. It's Spaghetti versus the world. He doesn't have Solar Storm again. He's got to wait 23 seconds, and that is a Kraken going down very quickly here.
Impunity are certainly looking for revenge here at Scoundrel as the Supernovas that are put there. He looks for the burst, but it's going to be Elite 8 unleashing the Kraken, and Spaghetti loses his life.
This could be Elite 8 making a comeback here, and again, I've got to question some of the item choices from Cote d'Ivoire. The fountains held on too long in these fights. This is going to be a big defense from Impunity right this time round, and Elite 8 could actually find themselves in this series, not somewhere that I think Impunity expected to be. There's just a turret push. This is going to be so difficult. They've got 33 seconds. I don't know if Impunity can defend this.
Me neither. DefQ is doing his best to lay down the damage. Hunyegas, though, is certainly sustaining through it all. Look at the damage coming out of Official Heinz. Here comes DefQ. Half healths Hunyegas, but now he needs to escape and get heals of his own. Spaghetti is 16 seconds off recalling, and DefQ is certainly low. Takes down Hunyegas, but Cote d'Ivoire cannot afford to lose his life. Portals to safety. Spaghetti coming up as soon as this turret is destroyed. They have to fall back here. They have to be so careful. Elite 8 Spaghetti. Solar Storm comes through, but Cote d'Ivoire taking so much damage. Official Heinz just dancing around. This Kraken still doing work, and Cote d'Ivoire is so close to losing his life. Spaghetti, Minefield, Solar Storm. Can he find the kill? Official Heinz will be forced to retreat, but there is the Kraken taking down this final Vein Crystal turret. He's been called back in. He's looking to finish the game. The Kraken wailing away. That is falling down. Cote d'Ivoire dives in, looking to take down Official Heinz all by himself, while Spaghetti is almost out of energy. DefQ about to come up. They've taken down the Vein Crystal, and Elite 8 going to find Game 2 of this series.
This is not what we expected. When we started this series, we expected Impunity to roll through, but what a great game from Elite 8. I've got to say, uncharacteristic mistakes creeping into Impunity, and I definitely think maybe, like we said, innovation taken a bit too far. There's a thin line between a mad inventor and a scientist, and here we go. Impunity looking to put their foot down in this final. If they lose a game here, suddenly they are one win away, or one loss away from Elite 8 being the team that qualifies for Worlds, and how insane would that be? A team that isn't that Impunity roster, winning a Southeast Asian Championship, and Elite 8, what a deserving team to do so after really piloting this double CP. They are going to pilot it here again, obviously. I feel like Lance would have been better if they were trying to make it work, though. I don't... This is a little bit better at being aggressive. This is a better aggressive composition for the CP ones, because you've obviously got that afterburn, which is a little bit longer range than the Impale, and you can pick off targets, but peeling-wise, not quite as good.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one, Scoundrel. Game 3 of this best-of-5 series. It's tied up 1 apiece. Impunity, the reigning Southeast Asian Championships of all time, But now Elite 8 are binding their way into this series, going to look to try and challenge that score.
DefQ in lane with Quatrevois. Quatrevois starting with double shielding and minion candy here.
Very
heavy push in the lane.
Yes. They're going to... Well, it's also perhaps to stop the push. There's a lot of siege potential. DefQ takes a huge chunk of damage here as well.
Yeah.
The minion candy can be used to push or to counter the push that comes out. And since Elite 8 have so much range, I feel like they're going to look to try and push. It's something that we saw them do yesterday against Popeyes. They love to push turrets. They love to siege turrets. And so you get that minion candy, you try and shut it down as soon as possible. Quatrevois going to come in. Oh, that's a lot of damage onto Hun Jaegers. They're going to look for the kill. They find it. First blood goes over to DefQ. Anime Save Me should be alright to escape this one. But a nice turnaround. Nice play from Impunity.
The reason I like the Thin, by the way, in this double CP competition is the ability to provide shielding stats to your allies, the polite company, the double shielding coming down from Quatrevois. They must have anticipated this in the draft because it's something they have done against double CP before as well. Anime Save Me looking for an afterburn. Not the best decision. A lot of damage comes down from DefQ, but here comes Hun Jaegers to the rescue. Drifting Dark and Malice and Verdict will help ward away that Impunity roster. And Spaghetti again farming up pretty heavily here.
He is certainly farming up as heavily as possible. Going to look to try and get those Elder Treants for himself. Official High comes into lane, something that he did very often in his series. Tension Bow first item for DefQ. Definitely a viable pick. Usually...
That's an old school build.
Usually the time you see it in the most recent updates is when you're against a Gwen and you just try and match the Tension Bow power spike. It's a bit interesting in this particular example though.
Yeah, it's a bit of an old school build for Ringo, but obviously Tension Bow hit a little bit of a buff in update 2.4, so it got up to 10% flat armor pierce as opposed to 8%, so it gives you slightly more damage on that initial hit. But this is definitely something that's a bit older in terms of what Ringo used to do. Ringo's maybe about a year and a half ago would go Tension Bow first item and just run away with the early game, kind of win within 8 minutes. So let's see what Impunity have got lined up for us here.
Yeah, it's going to be Spaghetti knocked sideways, but Anime Save Me is the one under fire. The Helo Genesis landing on top of this glaive. Spaghetti looking to put as much pressure down. Official Hein is just off to the side here, but spotted out by Spaghetti there. It means that there's no potential threat really from this Sky.
No. Again, Sky doing heavy prism here, not stacking those crystal bits like we often see a lot of Skies do. Official Hein wants to move very quickly towards his tier 3 item. Could be a Frostburn, like the Frostburn against the Finn. Soaks up a lot of damage, makes it easy to slow him down. You can stack those broken myths later on in the game on him when he is slowed. Hun Jaegers, look, he's working towards Eve of Harvest first, which has been that classic Southeast Asian build. Tends to be their first item of choice on most of their CP carries. Spaghetti also heavy prism working towards a tier 3. I would like to see a Frostburn come out on Spaghetti though. I would like to see that as a difference from last game. I definitely think slowing down the targets, especially for Idris last game, would have been critical. So I really would like to see a Frostburn considered. Double heavy prism though, for Spaghetti, just going for that flat damage right now.
Yeah, no, and considering the fact that his inventory's full, he does have a flare that he can get rid of to open up some slots. He is likely to probably go towards something... You expect Eve of Harvest, right? It's just so standard, but we'll see. Hun Jaegers, wow, so much damage coming out. DefQ, though, it's all been turned on, and Spaghetti is so struggling to escape. A single auto attack will find the kill, but he's too deep under the turret, and Official Hein just will not be able to find it. This is risky, though. Spaghetti getting a bit greedy, wants to heal up on this Treant, and Official Hein could get in there, but cannot. The Treant goes down very quickly, gets the heal, and it means there's no real route for Official Hein to get in. Now Spaghetti can come back into the lane, clear out this wave pretty quickly with the Supernova, and make sure this turret is unthreatened.
Impunity again struggling to respect that Samuel's damage output with the Malice and Verdict with the Drifting Dark here. A lot of damage coming down. I think they need to start thinking about countering the Samuel specifically. The damage from DefQ though, that critical strike with Tension Bow, by the way, that's kind of what you see. That
he's going... Is that an Aftershock?
Oh,
is he going on hit from DefQ on this
no.
Ringo?
Aftershock doesn't build out of...
no, it doesn't build out of heavy prism. It doesn't
build out of heavy prism, but what he could be going towards is a Shatterglass, and then we have like Burst Ringo, so like Tension Bow for the hit, and then Shatterglass for the ultimate, deals with squishy targets quite well. This is not the time to innovate, boys. This is the time to win games.
This is DefQ being knocked into the turret. Does go very low, and the turret actually finds the kill in the end as well. Hun Jaegers goes very low. The Fountain will keep him alive for now, but Spaghetti is under fire. Forward barrage. That polite company keeps him alive just about. The fortified health coming down. Quatrevois is just skirting around the edge of this death from above, but Elite 8 starting to take the lead in this game. They are looking to take this turret now. Quadavoir trying to hold it, but in fact, he is going very low, taken down. Anime saving with the kill credit. Spaghetti comes in, that's going to be a Solar Storm sniping away Hunyegas, and should cancel out this turret siege as well. But very curious things. There's a heavy prism. He's going Aftershock.
No.
DefQ is going Aftershock.
He's not, because he's got Eclipse Prism and Heavy Prism.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's confusing. Like you can't really think about where he's going, because there's no point thinking about where he's going. We'll just find out when we get there. It's like one of those
journey.
It's like it's one of those wild rides. We just have to assume that it's a thing. DefQ again overextending. I've got to say, Anime Save Me has been a massive saving grace here for Elite 8. He has been fantastic with those afterburns, instantaneous on the right target every time. Well, you know, if you can't beat him, join him. Double CP. Just with just a tension bow added in.
Why not? Why not? It's very curious things coming out of Impunity here, and currently Elite 8 seem to be feeding off this momentum they found. Spaghetti knocked, and that's another kill. Anime Save Me, just MVP so far this game, finding afterburn after afterburn, and the turret's going to fall.
This has been insane from Elite 8. It's like a team renewed. They bring in their sub, the double CP, and if this goes to another game, you know, for 2-1 to Elite 8, I think Impunity have to stop thinking about weird ways to beat Samuel and just pick something that beats Samuel. Like a Black Feather, Attacker, Koshka, which we know Spaghetti has played with great aggression before. You need to go back to basics. You can't afford to keep trying to invent something. This is not inventing time. This is time to play things that win. And I've got to give massive credit to Anime Save Me. He's been fantastic on this glaive. He's already got 2 items. He's got the Crucible there for the Fin already. He has been a pivotal member of this Elite 8 team to find the kills and find the setups where necessary. He's been involved in every single kill so far, and this double CP is something that Elite 8 bringing out here, and it doesn't feel like Impunity actually have an answer for it.
Well, DefQ has gone down that Shadow Glass like you mentioned, so yeah, as you said, if you can't beat them, join them. Let's go double CP. Ourselves, Impunity in trouble though as Spaghetti gets knocked. That's him just going to drop immediately. Great Oblivion puts DefQ asleep, and I feel he's going to struggle to escape. Anime Save Me throws the fountain out, gets pulled back into turret range, but Quadavoir cannot really find the return damage necessary to snipe away this glaive.
Need Crucibles, need reflex blocks. Those are just free afterburns right now. As soon as someone steps up within afterburn range, Anime Save Me goes in and makes it happen. This is just, this is stuff that, you know, I teach people on YouTube. This is stuff that, you know, if you were getting hit by these afterburns over and over again, you need something to block them. And Quadavoir doesn't look like he's anywhere close to building to a Crucible. I mean, he's got an Oak-Heart, and then he's got shielding, and then an Hourglass. Spaghetti and DefQ need their own reflex blocks.
Yeah, he's going Contraption on this Fin by the looks of things, Six Scoundrel.
Yeah.
Cooldown reduction, meaning he can put out more shields.
It's just not the right item.
Impunity. Curious scenes. 1,500 gold behind as we speak, Six Scoundrel, and yeah, no, it is looking very curious. That's going to be an Eve of Harvest completed. Hunyegas went down Frostburn before the Eve of Harvest. This is great adaptation coming out of Elite 8 as they're just completely adapting their play styles, the things that have just become norm over the weekend, starting to change things up so that they can have the best chance of finding themselves
The Frostburn is excellent though, because it slows down those targets. When they get afterburned in, they get slowed down when they make it into the fray, and suddenly they get pounded by all that CP damage. It's just, yes, it's not looking healthy right now for Impunity. Here goes another afterburn.
Yeah, knocks DefQ not quite the right direction. Solar Storm comes out. That's going to be a great pull in. Hunyegas down to half HP, but look at Quadavoir just melting away. Throws out the Polite Company, the fountain as well to keep him alive.
Here comes there is a Hellfire Brew for Ringo right now.
Yeah, DefQ, he's running out of energy. He has to throw it now or never, essentially. Official Hind getting pretty close. DefQ down to half HP. Anime Savvy coming in. That's Official Hind getting very close, but that Hilo Genesis keeps everyone at bay. Quadavoir, though, he's playing a risky game, and Hunyega's going to show him why. DefQ trying to escape Official Hind's barrage, and he will be able to for now, but here comes the Hellfire Brew. Finally, oh, it's going to hit 2! It's going to hit main targets! Burning away Hunyegas, but it's just not enough damage to find the kill into Anime Save Me. I think Hunyegas, nope, he goes down. The burn was enough to find the kill into him.
Yeah, they're going to need their reflex block. Hunyegas has got one. Official Hind has got one. There was a Crucible. Right now, decisions are just better from Elite 8, in my honest opinion. Maybe when we get to late game, this actually works into Impunity's favour, but I think Quatrefoil might be heading towards a reflex block, a Crucible right now, because it is sorely needed. Somebody needs some reflex block, because if Anime Save Me finds anybody out of position, an Afterburn just puts a key target in the firing line, and you can't afford to have that happen. Spaghetti has picked his up. DefQ has been able to maintain enough range that he hasn't been the target. Definitely, I agree with the fact that Spaghetti is more of the crucial target to have that Afterburn block on in the form of the reflex block.
Where is DefQ going next? This is an alternating current.
Yeah, this is an alternating current. He's basically playing CP Ringo, but just wanted to have a tension bow for a bit of early game pressure, which he didn't manage to achieve.
Is it that they decided they were going double CP from the beginning, or was it an adaptation that they decided halfway through the game? It seems curious nonetheless.
I think they probably were deciding to have... I mean, I would pick CP Ringo into a double squishy range.
Oh, wow. DefQ gets pushed right on in. They turn that around perfectly from the Forced Accord. Save Me just gets the distance necessary to find that Afterburn. It just pulls in the threat. Oblivion flies out, able to dodge it out, but Quatrefoil is just taking so much poke. He has the Fountain available. He's probably going to have to use it very shortly. Here we go. That's going to be Spaghetti in a lot of trouble. Quatrefoil trying to find the return. Has to just be so careful he doesn't catch a Malice to the face.
It's going to be a healing camp steal as well, I think, by Official Heim. He moves through the back there. I think Spaghetti trying to chase him, but Spaghetti's got literally 0 energy right now. He'll have to be very careful about how he approaches this. Quatrefoil's trying to catch him out, potentially.
Yeah, it does look like Quatrefoil may be able to get in position. No, the boots pop. Official Heim's
Frostburn
gone.
as well. Frostburn slowed down Quatrefoil here. Still tier 1 boots for Quatrefoil as well, not working towards those war treads to potentially give them ability needed to the team. This is not the impunity we saw yesterday, Dalsy. I'm almost speechless.
They did that yesterday to us as well.
Yeah, but for the right reasons.
It's a very, very peculiar thing. I'm racking my brain because I want to understand it, because there's definitely thought there. There's an idea there, and I'm trying to understand what that idea may be, so I can...
What idea are you trying to get your hands on?
Impunity's idea of this composition,
so the CP Ringo is good against double squishy range because of how much damage the Hellfire Brew does, right? So then you combine that, but the tension bow doesn't make any sense. That's the thing. I don't understand the tension bow. Maybe it's just a good item for pressure. It does make his auto attacks a little bit more impactful. Can shred through a bit of armor. Here comes the pull. Yeah,
Anime Save Me pulled in. Not really the person you want, because he just gets the range on the Afterburn. Look at Quatrefoil falling asleep. He's got the Fountain. Going to keep him alive for now. Reflex block comes out, but he is just getting melted, and he just couldn't get that polite company out. A kill to Hunyegas, and it's a crucial one as well. The only person really keeping Impunity alive, and instead of a Crucible, goes down an Aegis route.
I mean, to be honest, Finn absolutely destroys. CP Sky just destroys Finn, because the Frostburn makes it so that Finn literally can't move. He just soaks up damage, and DefQ going in here. He's going to walk. He gets isolated by the death from above.
Yeah, but he's doing the damage to Hunyegas, and Hunyegas is so low on energy. Official Heinz gets caught out, but Spaghetti cannot find the kill. Finally does get it. And now DefQ looking for the return as well. Anime Save Me just keeping the distance between DefQ and Hunyegas, and DefQ will be forced to say goodbye to that idea.
War treads there for Anime Save Me. He's already got a lot of it, a movement speed, and DefQ unable to catch up even with the Achilles shot. This is a bit risky to push onto this tier 1 turret here with, I think, Samuel still alive. He can come up and defend this quite easily. They're going to try and do their best here, but here comes Anime Save Me. He's got the Afterburn.
Yeah, and they're going to have to block this one up. Solar Storm comes out from the base. Spaghetti throws that out, and it does dissuade Elite 8 from chasing. Almost at this 15-minute mark, and it's Elite 8 in the driving position. 3,000 gold up, as the Kraken going to be joining us on the Halcyon Fold very shortly.
Spaghetti also very delayed in his build path. Now gone for tier 2 builds. Not anywhere near to his 3-item choice here for a CP Celeste the Jungle. That's a really delayed build, and you can see DefQ actually now going towards his own Broken Myth, but I mean, what all Tension Bow has done is like delayed your CP build, which is I don't know, just makes no sense to me, to be honest. Quatrefoil got his own Aegis. That does make sense against double CP, double reflex block. Also can defend as much as possible.
We'll have to see how this one plays out. Like the Aegis on Quatrefoil, it makes sense because the shielding can be distributed.
You can distribute your shielding when you use your polite company. That makes perfect sense. But what doesn't make sense is why he hasn't got a Crucible.
Seeing Spaghetti taking huge chunks of damage here. He's going very low. Here comes Anime Save Me. Quad d'Ivoire is just so far out, and DefQ's under fire. There's no way you can play that game. Quad d'Ivoire has to be next to his carries, or else there's no point having the Finn with tons of shielding to distribute.
They're going to go for the Kraken here. Split up that team from Impunity, and they just don't seem to be able to respond. Again, you have to question. No reflect, no Crucible, nothing to protect from that extra kind of element of the Oblivion that you want to defend against. You want to defend against more Afterburns. Quad d'Ivoire tries to potentially make a Miracle Steal, but you can see how devastating a Frostburn Sky is. This should be Quad d'Ivoire potentially paying with his life. I don't think there's any way he's going to escape this particularly.
The energy. Solar Storm. I think he might be able to. The Solar Storm doesn't hit the Kraken. It could have been a potential steal, actually, with how low it was, but unfortunate for Impunity. The Kraken does go over to Elite 8.
Elite 8 could be one game away from making the World Finals later this year, and Impunity, the roster that has very rarely lost, if at all lost a final.
Never lost a final. This would be history in Southeast Asia.
Never lost a final, this roster, and yesterday it didn't look like they were going to lose a final. Everybody counted Elite 8 out, including myself. I'll be the first to raise my hands and say Elite 8 didn't look like they had what it takes to beat Impunity, but bringing back in their sub, bringing back in Anime Save Me, the main roster captain, has been so devastating for Impunity and such a revitalization for the Elite 8 roster. DefQ taking damage here, Quad d'Ivoire taking damage, they're forced away, here comes the reflex.
Spaghetti just knocked against the wall. That's going to be putting the silence down onto this Finn. The Kraken now pushing in, and Quad d'Ivoire, he goes so low. DefQ with the Hellfire Brew, but now he's going to pay with his life, and Hunjagus is still alive. They cannot hold down Elite 8. They are looking to take the game here in Game 3 and push themselves to just one more. Spaghetti snipes Hunjagus, looking for more as Quad d'Ivoire provides the brick wall necessary. Spaghetti, can he hit the damage? It does look like Elite 8 are going to disengage. Impunity with a second chance.
They have one more turret remaining in front of that Vein Crystal. There's only 4,000 gold, almost 3,000 gold that separates these two teams right now. If only, the Tension Bow just got sold. What was the point in it? Why did you buy it in the first place? Now 3 items comes through for Spaghetti. He's got the Frostburn, but it's last item Frostburn. That should have been first item in my opinion. And maybe now we're hitting this sort of later game stage. There could be some element that comes together. I would still love to have seen a Crucible for Quad d'Ivoire, but it might be too late for that. Infusions are necessary at this point. Hunjagus and Official Heim, clockwork there for Hunjagus. We saw how much damage output and how much the cooldown reduction affected what he could do with those Malice and Verdict. It's on a 2-second cooldown, and that's not even inside the Drifting Dark. Pull comes through, here we go.
It's Anime Save Me pulled in, not the person you want. You want to find a prime target. DefQ separated. There's no way he gets out of this one alive. He's going to try and lay down the damage, but he eventually goes down. Solar Storm comes through, but a good block comes in, and it means that it just doesn't do the work. Quad d'Ivoire, he's trying to escape. Polite company to elong his life, but Official Hind is going to just take down the Finn with the Series Strike. It's very, very likely a Scoundrel. Spaghetti going to have to put up a godlike defense.
Absolutely, and Spaghetti has been so disconnected from these fights from Impunity. You look at it, he immediately backs off well out of the range of Heliogenesis, can do nothing in these fights, and Spaghetti's dead as well. This is Elite 8 taking the second game of the series. Elite 8 will find themselves one game away from the world final position and the winners of the Southeast Asian region. How insane is this? How insane is this to see Elite 8 finally prove a challenge up to Impunity?
It's incredible. Look at that. The celebrations. It's celebrations in the studios from their fans as well as Scoundrel. Yeah. Everyone is rooting for the Indonesians right now. The underdogs in this finals, and they take Game 3. They're 2-1 up. One more game.
One more game for Elite 8, and I think Impunity do need some resetting here because there's been some odd build choices. Itemization, sequencing has been off for me. And this double CP, which has been 2 games in a row now, it needs a direct answer, not some sort of roundabout answer. Not a Celeste. I don't think Celeste is working right now for Spaghetti. I think he needs to ditch that. They need something that's got early aggression, can put pressure on the Samuel, and they might even, I think they just ban Samuel. Like, just ban Samuel.
Everyone expected them to win. This is so much pressure on the backs of Impunity, and for Elite 8, well, there was almost no pressure on them to come and win this against Impunity. Almost no expectation of them, and yet here they are looking to do so.
So you can see there, We are heading into game now. Dowsey, or actually,
Here's
the
the
bracket.
roots. It's Elite 8. They took out Popeyes. It was a hard battle, 3-2. They came back a 2-0 deficit to reverse sweep, whereas Impunity just took out Enix 3-0. And then Enix took out Popeyes 3-0. We fully expected, considering how strong Enix was against Popeyes, that Elite 8 would struggle, but man, here we go. It is going to be this game getting underway. We are experiencing some technical difficulties with our spectator client. It is starting to come alive very, very shortly. There's been 2 kills, 1 apiece for each team.
Oh, look at those minions.
They're just zooming.
They're flying into lane. So where did those kills coming through? That's interesting. So we had an invade, I expect, early on. One kill went over to Official Hein, 1 kill went over to DefQ. And the people that went down were both captains on either side. Cote d'Ivoire has to back out here.
Yes, be very careful as the range from this triple range composition means the siege potential for Elite 8 is certainly there. Cote d'Ivoire as a Catherine going to struggle, but look at the limit shots coming out. And this
wait a second.
This is DefQ with CP Kestrel in the lane. Okay.
Do you know what? I actually like that more.
Well, that's a kill going over. It's traded back. DefQ may lose his life as well. Official Hein looking for the kill, and he does snipe it away. Impressive stuff. Can he get a triple for himself? Stormguard goes up. Hanjägers dives forward, and it is going to be all 3 members of Impunity losing their lives.
Why did they stick around? They didn't need to stick around there. I do like this from DefQ a bit more. I really don't like CP Kestrel in the lane, however. It's very difficult to land glimmer shots effectively, but what it does do is it gives them an earlier spike with the weapon power glaive. They can look to be more aggressive, but they have just given so much of an early advantage over to Elite 8 here with a Baron. And already Frostburn finished for Official Hein at 3 minutes 25. I don't know, this is not looking good for Impunity in this final game.
He is 3-0-1 on his Samuel already, Scoundrel, at 3 minutes. That is huge for the early game power of this Samuel. Anime Save Me, taking a lot of hurt in the lane. DefQ making sure he can't get the heals back, but Official Hein is rotating up. He's going to make himself known as he starts battering away with those Malice and Verdicts. I guess DefQ can throw it back just as good, though.
Yeah, the problem is that you do fall off here with the Impunity. You only have the CP Kestrel that scales particularly well. I guess what they do have is a glaive that if he goes down a critical strike build path can have an instantaneous impact on one of the targets, and it does make it slightly harder to itemize because you're going to want both shielding and armor. Cote d'Ivoire just tanking so much damage. Has been a case a lot of the time. Decision making has been slightly off this series for him.
Yeah, and he goes down half HP. It does have the Life Spring, will start to heal up a little bit. DefQ takes a bit of poke from Official Hein, but the Glimmer Shots does a little bit more back in return. But it's the Siege game coming out as Cote d'Ivoire has to join DefQ, and it looks like Spaghetti's going to rotate up as well. That Bright Bulwark can shut everyone down, but Cote d'Ivoire has already taken almost all his life away, meaning that it's not likely Impunity can stick around to defend this turret.
They need to just go in. Like, they can't sit there and take the poke damage because they can't really respond to it. Cote d'Ivoire kind of almost tempting them with the Storm Shield here. They need to go in, look for a stun, get Spaghetti in there with the Afterburn, and get DefQ trying to find. They're going to lose this turret maybe early on here because of that back and because of how low they are. And obviously Cote d'Ivoire has not yet finished the Fountain. That's the first turret already going to Elite 8 because, I mean, Impunity just don't want to commit to a fight. And I just think they need to.
2,000 gold now for Elite 8. A very passive Impunity here. We're going to see the Fountain completed now for Anime Save Me. This Baron has enough gold to complete that Sorrow Blade as well. Get that first item in his back pocket. Impunity, man, it's a struggle almost seeing this from them. And I think you're right. They just need to commit.
They need to commit to a fight because they can't poke war them because unfortunately you've only got the You've literally only got DefQ, which is a little bit harder to hit and at longer range to hit your Glimmer Shots compared to the Empowered Malice and Verdict. Here we go, though. We're going to get a start.
Yeah, Anime Save Me going to be taking a lot of damage, but Spaghetti gets put to sleep. And Elite 8 turn it around with 2 kills. Impunity just falling by the road. It's only DefQ left alive using that CP Kestrel active camo to escape, and he will.
And they've committed too late. They commit to the fight too late. They have no Fountain, whereas Anime has the Fountain finished already. Cote d'Ivoire has just finished his. They commit to the wrong target. They go on the Lyra, who obviously has the healing on themselves. And I mean, it's just not looking good right now. Impunity already taking poke damage more often, and now we might have to see them commit because they do have their fountain left over. Here's the stun.
Yeah, that's Anime Save Me. After burned away, he should go down, and he does indeed, but Cote d'Ivoire is baiting out damage. Has the fountain, pops it out, but this Malice Inverted comes, he's so huge, and Hun Jaegers dives forward. Cote d'Ivoire loses his life. The Baron at 6 minutes with a double kill. It is completely the opposite of what you expect to come out of Elite 8.
And Impunity just looked like a team so different. That's going to be another turret being sieged here. Might not get taken down. Official Hein took a little bit of damage, but I think that Samuel has been more of an issue than I think Impunity wanted to realize. And Elite 8 have had an answer for everything this game. This looks like they are shoring up to become our Southeast Asian champions and finalists, and it'll be a changing of the guard, a historic moment to not see this Impunity roster remain on top in the Southeast Asian region. But not only that gives hope to other Southeast Asian teams that they can compete at this level now. The region as a whole is improving. It's not Impunity getting worse, it's just the region of the whole improving, and Elite 8 are a prime example of that. They came through a trial of fire to get here, a fire of Popeyes. And now they find themselves 2-1 up with a serious advantage in this final game potentially for them.
Yes, 4,000 gold as well. Scoundrel starting to build up for this team. And Elite 8 feeling very comfortable with their ability to push, and get those objectives, that global gold, into their stomachs.
Cote d'Ivoire goes in to the front lines, pops that Storm Shield again, but does not yet commit to the fight because unfortunately Spaghetti not quite in position. Looks like a stealth looking to come out, trying to get a flank here, but nothing happening again. It's very defensive from Impunity. They are taking the poke and they can't respond to it.
Yeah, Spaghetti needs to look for an afterburn, but just look how much damage he's taking. He is so squishy. There's the Iron Cannon flying out straight on top of the turret, and it's going to just blow it to smithereens. That's another turret going down in favor of Elite 8, and they are continuing this dominance in this game.
Again, is the one-shot, one-kill coming through. Just land onto the Samuel, but they're just not in a position. You can't sit there and take the Baron shots, take the Samuel Malice and Verdicts, and not commit to the fight. Spaghetti and Cote d'Ivoire have to make a move. It is level 6 now. They've got the silence available. DefQ not in position, but they're still just not finding the right moment here. And this is painful to see compared to the same level that we saw from Impunity yesterday. And you can't help but feel that had they played these other games slightly differently, had they maybe changed the way they built, they might have actually kept themselves in this final. But you've got to give credit to Elite 8 and specifically to Anime Save Me, who has been such an amazing addition to the roster mid-series. The official sub playing remotely has had a massive impact for this team.
Yeah, certainly has. Now Eve of the Harvest completed for Samuel. Breaking point for your Hun Jaegers just a while ago. And this is just even more damage coming in the form of Elite 8. There's no match. DefQ has not completed his second item, going down the double heavy prism. Spaghetti is nowhere near completing a second damage item for himself. Impunity are so far behind, almost 6,000. No, it is just 6,000 gold at this stage. 9 minutes, you expect Baron to be behind. You expect Baron to be the one trailing, but right now Hun Jaegers is leading the charge.
This is so close. I mean, Elite 8, if they win this...
Whoop. Okay.
Elite 8, if they win this, they get a world spot.
Yeah.
That is huge because that is a massive event. World teams from all over the world, East Asia, South America, North America, Europe, and obviously Southeast Asia, come to join in a massive competition. And for Elite 8 to have a spot there over this Impunity roster would be massive, not only for the organization, but for the players. And obviously Indonesia, this is an Indonesian team, remember? Not even a mixed team from the Southeast Asian region. This is just Indonesia. How awesome for their community would it be to have a team that puts so much into the Indonesian Vainglory community as well, trying to build up the community there. To have them win the Southeast Asian Championships after all of their efforts would be so amazing for that team.
Definitely a heartwarming story that Elite 8 are trying to put their signature onto right now. Pressuring down this choke point turret, so much damage just put straight on. Cote d'Ivoire's going to go very low. He escapes the Oblivion, but the turret is now wide open. Spaghetti pushes on up, going to take down this minion wave and alleviate some pressure. The one shot almost hitting Official Hein, but it whizzes past his head and he kills the relief as it doesn't connect.
You know that the Impunity roster will be hungry to get another spot for the World's Championship if they lose here, but you have to credit how amazing Elite 8 have been this time round. And it almost feels like there's nothing that Impunity can do. You're at 3-item Baron at 11 minutes. That is just insane. if he gets any shots onto Defq, who cannot afford to itemize into armor, by the way. He can barely afford to itemize into a reflex block. He just blows up, and then there's Glaive sitting on just a light armor right now. This Baron is going to tear through that Impunity team. And then you've got to add to the fact that Official Heim is closing on 3 items here as well, and it doesn't feel like, even without the Lyra, there's the threat of the Bright Bulwark, the threat of the poke right now is stopping Impunity from making engages. I think this is Defq looking to set something up with the active camo. This might be one of their only opportunities.
Look at where Spaghetti as well. Up in that bush, they're going to look to try and get a flank, catch someone out. It's a double active camo, and Animace is just teetering on the edge of it. Spaghetti completely unnoticed. Hunjager's pushing up. He's going to lay down the active camo. Will he step into it? Will Spaghetti be able to get the flank? So close. They're on the edge here, but they have to know something's up. This turret is starting to go down. There it is. Active camo. They can step into it. It's a 3-man stun. It's the second time this series, and Impunity now looking to try and turn it around. Their damage is not quite there. They are struggling. Spaghetti goes down. Quadavar goes down. A double for Hunjagers, and the damage is insane. A triple.
Oh my God. When you get a 3-man active camo and you don't win the fight, that's when you know the game is over. Elite 8 barreling through into the base right now, and Impunity's hopes of getting to the World Finals must be tumbling, because that was just insane. You don't see those setups. It's twice this series that those setups have been available for Impunity, but when you get a 3-man active camo onto key targets and you don't get the kills, you don't win the fight, you are too far behind to win the game. Baron right there, the critical strikes at this point, doing more damage than the active camo did. This is insane for Elite 8. They have played their minds out. The sub has been so good for them. Anime Save Me coming in has been a real key into the cogs that needed to allow this Evil 8 machine to turn. Elite 8 machine to turn, and I've got to say, the Samuel's been a major winning factor for them as well.
Hunjagers, 4 damage items before 13 minutes. That is an insane lead for this Baron. He has almost 150 CS at 13 minutes.
He's 40 CS up on Defq as well.
40 CS up on Defq. Defq has not completed a 3rd tier 3. He is
He's not completed a second.
build.
He's not even completed a 2nd tier 3 item.
He is so far behind as far as damage is concerned. Neither has Spaghetti. Spaghetti has been struggling to get gold as it's just been choked away. Elite 8 with a 10,000 gold lead, almost 11,000, and it just feels like it's done.
You are staring down at the the champions of potentially of the Southeast Asian region. We just have a potential slight bug here. We'll make sure we get back on track as soon as we physically can.
Yeah, no, this is going to be coming back in, and you can see the pause coming out. It's in the midst of a fight. Look at Hunjager's HB, 583. Obviously, whatever just happened for Impunity was well-timed.
Small pause coming out there. Hopefully, the players get back on track. It was the middle of an active camo stun or whatever happened there. Potentially taking out Baron here could be massively influential for the team. Could maybe get Impunity back on track, but it's a big road back up. Huge gold deficit to have to climb for the roster.
Wow. Just look at the faces as well on Impunity. They are straight-faced, Scoundrel. They are staring.
Spaghetti looks incredibly focused. Quadavar almost bemused.
And you would be. No one expected Elite 8 to come out firing such shots like this. Does look like the players are getting ready to go. Fingers poised. We are getting back into this game. And it is going to be Hunjager still alive for now. But unfortunately, we do have even more issues on our spectator client, so we cannot quite update you as to what is going down.
The players are still going. The players are still going. Actually, whoa. I have no idea what happened, but it looked like Hunjager's and Official Hein cleaned up. Now Quadavar trying to escape, but even with Hunjager's getting taken out, the Official Hein's damage is just too high right now.
Potentially a mistake here from Elite 8, looking at the death timers, looking at the minion wave, looking at the position of the chase.
Without Baron, I don't think they could have finished. I think it would have been a big ask for them to finish without Baron. Hunjager's is going to respawn. And I think Kraken will be on the cards right now for Elite 8. Kraken will be the absolute sealing blow to secure this Southeast Asian Championship and knock Impunity from their throne.
Spaghetti attempting to itemize into a poison shiv as his second damage item. Def Q finishes his second at 15 minutes.
Exactly, its second item is getting finished here. I mean, Cote d'Ivoire's got a aftershock. I kind of understand, but you need something for the. You need a crucible for the Oblivion. You need boots, journey boots. There. Do you know what? We're done with these scoundrel rants. Let's just celebrate how well Elite 8 have played, because they have been
outstanding.
They have been outstanding. They really have.
Now the Kraken to be threatened on down. Def Q lands a couple of crucial shots. All the one shot. Would have that connected, it could have been a fight. It started on up. Iron Cannon going to fly on out. It's more of a scouting tool. Spots out the middle of the wave there. And now the flares trying to find this CP Kestrel, trying to find where Spaghetti is hiding on out. Elite 8 showing respect to the potential of being caught out here.
They're showing respect for those active camos, which have been a real nuisance for them, you have to say. And you can see Anime Save Me working towards a contraption, realizing that he does need to maintain vision control here to be able to scout out not only the Kestrel, but those active camos as well. Elite 8 have been fantastic this series. Cote d'Ivoire again, face tanks. Storm Shield will save the damage from him. But Impunity are just so far behind on items right now, both defensively and offensively. You don't really see a way to stall this out for long enough. You were above 10k behind. You're about 11k behind at this point in time. That is a massive deficit in Vainglory to have to try and climb back. Kraken's going to get started. If you feel if this doesn't get stolen, if this goes over to Elite 8, this will be sealing their championship.
2 Vein Crystal turrets, and the Vein Crystal separating Elite 8 from becoming Southeast Asia champions for the first time here. Iron Cannon going to go out. Here comes Cote d'Ivoire looking for a steal. Blast Tremor going to silence. One shot steals it. That's the steal coming through from Def Q, and Impunity just going to fall back and allow the Kraken to do the work. That's an Oblivion over the wall. They're trying to find this Kestrel, and they found her. Def Q take down 605, but they're trying to turn the damage around. Spaghetti does not have it. If they die here, this could just be the end. A double for Hun Jaegers. Cote d'Ivoire running for his life, but what are Elite 8 doing? Looks like they're dealing with the Kraken.
They've got plenty of time to deal with Kraken here. This just buys a bit more time over to Impunity, but they need lots more time. You feel like this was a small remedy, but where do they go? What do they do with this time? What do they build? They are so far behind in items and so far behind in damage, and going up against a composition that scales so well and has already scaled. That's the important thing. They have already scaled, Dalsy. 17 minutes and you're already at late game. And the contraption has been finished, and now Kestrel is going to become even less effective. This Impunity roster is struggling. And they have struggled for the last 3 games. Ever since Anime Save Me came in, their draft has been awkward. The build paths have been awkward, and Elite 8 have capitalized and played excellently.
The contraption, as you can see, the scout traps now littered around the middle of the map here at Scoundrel. Anywhere Elite 8 can walk towards, a scout trap will almost certainly follow.
Yeah, and you can see Anime Save Me planting them everywhere. If you get control of that middle area as well, it means it's so difficult to even contest the Kraken.
Currently just Impunity looking, hoping that a trap is walked into. Def Q going to reveal his location, and Elite 8 are going to start pushing towards it. He has been caught out. He's inactive. Camo Flare hasn't spotted just yet. In fact, he's behind, and I don't think Elite 8 are expecting him to be sitting behind. Hun Jaegers.
He can't even get in there because of the threat of the flares and the potential scout traps from the contraption. And he can't start launching an assault of glimmer shots because it's just not going to be enough right now. He's going up against double Aegis that has been completed, a full build Baron with Infusion, and an almost full build Samuel with Infusion.
Elite 8 pushing into the base here. Glimmer shots flying out from Def Q. He is low on energy. No regen available. That's a silence flying out. Hun Jaegers blocks it, but that's a one-shot connecting onto Anime Save Me, and he'll be happy to tank those up all day long. Elite 8, the damage being dealt. Cote d'Ivoire will have to fall back to the base, but Elite 8 with a minion wave are now looking to finish this one out. Def Q found out. Anime Save Me dives on forward, but they don't find the kill. Spaghetti pushed away. Oblivion on the staircase, but it's just not enough to catch out Impunity. They survive this onslaught, and Elite 8 will leave.
Scout traps there. They will spot out the Kestrel. Hearts pounding, fingers trembling. We're right at the end of the game here for Elite 8. They want to make this happen right now.
And Quantivar is in the midst of it all. He's trying to heal up the fountain for himself. Hanyega's looking to get the damage onto this Kestrel. And it looks like Quantivar may have just stepped outside of Def's range. The glimmer shots are there. Hanyega's is taking so much damage. The one shot will hit, but a good reflex block going to take the majority of that damage.
Again, they've got control of the Kraken area. They can back off. They don't need to overcommit here. They don't need to give any more space to Impunity that they have already given them. Impunity have been surviving, though. Quatrevoix has got fairly tanky, but only 22 stacks now. About 1 stack a minute that he's sitting on his passive, but he's again building to what looks like a potential clockwork. Still no Crucible. Still nothing to block the Oblivion across the entire team. And now Elite 8 are either looking to bait or run round. They actually showed themselves. Quatrevoix will isolate himself here. This might have been a mistake. He's going the wrong way.
He's going to run around the Rosie. And one shot going to catch Hanyega's. That is a dangerous time. The Kraken's been started up. They don't have vision of this Impunity. They would have expected that Elite 8 just drop the aggro immediately. In fact, they're going back to base. They are not expecting this Kraken to be going over Impunity.
Major mistake here. Quatrevoix realizes.
He's going to notice it. Ion Cannon's going to come on down. The one shot, it's not up. They have to get up close. The steal does not come through. Kraken unleash, and Quatrevoix going to go very low. Def Q being chased on down. Hanyega's with the damage, and that is a very dead Kestrel. Spaghetti dies on in. Hanyega's surviving. Spaghetti goes down. It's only Quatrevoix, and the ace comes through for Elite 8.
There is no way that they don't win this with the Kraken right now. They've got 40 seconds to barrel on through. You can already see the roster starting to celebrate, hands in the air. They are so close to finishing this game. Just 2 turrets stand in between a new Southeast Asian champion. The roster, the might of Impunity has fallen. And the Elite 8 roster are now barreling down onto these crystal turrets. How insane of a ride has this been for them to almost lose to the challenger team and now find themselves hitting onto these turrets to finish the game off. Here comes Kraken. There is not enough that Impunity can do to stop this.
Elite 8 cried for Anime to save them, and he certainly did in this series. Say hello to your Southeast Asian champions as they the Kraken should be able to take the base. It will do so. They are the Southeast Asia Spring champions.
And not only that, they are our Southeast Asian qualified worlds team, the first qualified worlds team of the year. And Impunity, they do not look happy. They look broken. But look at the joy on the Elite 8 roster. They are so over the moon, and Ilok even happy, obviously being subbed out for his team to win. He did his part. He got them through the semi-final. But in the final, they required the sub-in of Anime, and how insane has it been for him? Came in on 3 games on the trot. Impunity, the roster that has been undoubtedly the best in the region. Undisputedly champions across the last year and a half or so. And Elite 8 are the first all-Indonesian team as well to knock them off that spot. And again, we talked right at the start of this tournament about how much work they had done for the Indonesian community, how much they'd done to promote Vainglory there, and they have been rewarded with all of their effort in both practicing, all of their effort in promotion, and now they are our new Southeast Asian champions, our first Southeast Asian qualified world team. We will be seeing them later in the year, towards the end of 2017 at the Vainglory World Championships. They will represent the pride of the Southeast Asian region, and I've got to be honest, they have done it incredibly well.
Yeah, there they are, flying that Indonesian flag. They are so ecstatic about their victory. They said earlier that they just wanted to bring a trophy home for their mum on Mother's Day, and they've done so. This is going to be Elite 8 taking that victory. And we have a new champion in Southeast Asia.